What is up, car addicts? In this video, I'm going to be giving a guide for this week's normal time trial, RC Bandito time trial, and the premium race totaling over $300,000. Remember, the time trials can only be completed once a week for the full $100,000 payout. The premium race, however, could be completed in a limited amount of times with a 48-minute cooldown between each win. Also keep in mind that rocket-powered / flying vehicles cannot be used in time trials. So, starting off with the time trial this week, which is Storm Drain, I highly recommend either the Pariah, Itali GTO, the Vest 8, Emerus, Krieger, or if you're on a budget, the Baddie 801 constantly holding a wheelie for this time trial. Now, in terms of route, this time trial is the easiest one by far. You just need a very quick vehicle to complete it because it really doesn't give you much time. As always, I will be attempting to use the podium vehicle of the current event week on these time trials if they're quick enough to complete them. And for this event week, we have the Hot Ring Saber on the podium, which really isn't ideal for this time trial as it's mainly top speed base, and the Hot Ring Saber, ironically enough, doesn't have a sufficient top speed. I tried a few times, even doing the speed boost trick going on and off the walls, and I still couldn't beat the time with this car. The top speed just isn't there. So I was forced to pick an alternative vehicle, and I figured I would have a pretty good chance with the Gauntlet Classic Custom since it has a very good top speed, and of course I can wheelie in the beginning to get me a nice speed boost. And unfortunately, even with the perfect wheelie boost, going on and off the walls, I still couldn't make it. I almost did. I was really close on one of my runs, but again, the speed just isn't there. So I still wanted to complete it with an American car. So then I tried a third vehicle, which I picked the Coquette D10, and with that one I was finally able to beat the time trial. Moving on to this week's RC Bandito time trial, which is Davis Quartz. As always, you need to own an RC Bandito in order to participate in these. So this RC time trial is pretty tricky if you've never done it before because of the high speed corners and the bumpy sections as well. So just make sure to let off the throttle during most of those corners to maintain the stability of your Bandito. If you see your Bandito flipping to one side, losing control, again, just let off the throttle for that area that you're having issues with and it will go through it very smoothly. And again, make sure to brake for the tighter sections as well. And lastly, when you use your brakes in those sections, make sure to press them in about halfway, not all the way, or you might lose control of your Bandito. And lastly, we have this week's premium race, which is Down the Drain, which ironically enough is the same area as the time trial this week. So this one is restricted to the muscle car class. I highly recommend either the Vapid Click, Yosemite, Pizwazzer Dominator, or a Hellfire if you're a bit daring for this race. So this one's pretty easy. The hardest part is definitely the main jump at the beginning, and for that one, just angle it to the left and lightly tap the brakes before the jump, and you'll get through it almost perfectly every time. Now for this race, it's very important to go on and off the walls to get a speed boost, pretty similar to curb boosting, but this one gives you an even more significant speed boost. Now the best car for this race by far is the Vapid Click, due to the massive speed boost it gets going on and off those walls compared to other vehicles. Now I really wanted to win this race with the Hellfire, and honestly it's not that great of a choice because of the extra effort you have to put in to get a decent lap out of it, and you're still way off the pace of the Vapid Click, doing everything super easily, a lot quicker, with a lot less effort. But regardless, I still wanted to beat it with the Hellfire, and I did lose a couple times to Vapid Clicks in the other races. So then I picked my Vapid Click to win because I may or may not have been a bit annoyed. And then eventually I was finally able to grab a win with the Hellfire. Now for this particular race, I did have a pretty rough start because the start timer kind of lagged a bit and ruined my timing a bit for the start boost. And then some slipstream also messed me up a bit at the beginning, but the rest of the race went pretty well, and I was able to finally take the W in the Hellfire. I don't really recommend picking the Hellfire too much. If you have a Vapid Click, that's the ultimate vehicle for this, or a Yosemite. Those are definitely the top two and are a lot easier to get a win. And that's it, guys. Normal time trial is very easy if you use one of the higher top speed vehicles I mentioned. The RC time trial is pretty difficult if you've never done it before, so just let off the throttle for most of the turns and brake a lot. And this week's premium race is pretty easy if you use the Vapid Click and get that speed boost off those walls. Again, remember guys, you can earn over $300,000 between the three this week, and setting yourself a goal to beat them is always a lot of fun in my personal opinion. Let me know which one you found most difficult and what vehicles you used down below in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.